Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I've got coffee. Welcome to this week's Mental Monday. This week, I want to talk about something a little more serious again. I know I had taken a break from my serial killer series and done a very lighthearted, feel-good encouragement and kind of, this is how I'm embracing things. And not such heavy topics for a few videos. And now I'm kind of deep diving back into stuff, so I want to talk about it. And that is how we handle traumatic events in life. The level of trauma can vary completely, and I think it looks different for everybody depending on your life up till that point, depending on your viewpoints on certain things, and also depending on your personality type, just how you tend to react to things. All of that kind of culminates into whatever kind of mixture your response to a traumatic event is, or even what you consider a traumatic event. For some people, they have a very high tolerance for life's roller coasters and it doesn't faze them. For other people, they are very much more easily affected by it and it can be really, really difficult. Now, a lot of my instinct in what I would say is the best way to handle trauma comes from my own personality of being somebody that really, really needs that processing afterwards, the ability to kind of feel what I'm feeling and then just the ability to kind of evaluate what happened. I tend to do better talking about what happened than not. And in a specific way, I am very much I need to think through why this happened. I need to kind of come to grips with what this changes from there on out and just process it in that way. I tend to be somebody that overthinks things. So that is what I do. However, you might not be that person. You might be the person that jumps into fix-it mode. And that looks like automatically starting to problem solve. That looks like automatically jumping into making sure everybody else is okay. That looks like trying to fix the problem to stop it no matter what the situation is. And if there's really anything specific you could actually do. So everybody processes trauma differently. And each type of trauma is going to look very different in how you respond to it, especially when you're talking different walks of life, different life experiences up till that point, and completely different ways of processing and reacting to things. It's all going to look very different. But there are 5 kind of key elements that play a role in this and are things to think about. The first is going to be what happened and how does what happened affect you. So whatever the type of trauma is, whether it is something really, really physical, like being attacked, being assaulted in some way, or something mental where it's grief, it's an experience that was traumatic, but physically you're okay, that's going to decide how it impacts you pretty significantly. And it's also going to determine how does it actually affect you? What does it change about life beyond that point? There's no better or worse type of trauma, so both are going to have an impact on you, but there's going to be a difference in the impact, in how it impacts you and what it impacts you on, and just the overall experience changes. The second way is, was this an individual experience, or was this an experience you had with a group of friends or family losing a family member affects every single person in that family, and that grief is felt throughout. And honestly, from personal experience, that grief is something that almost bonds you, because you feel that loss of that person on a very, very similar level to the other people in your family. So that also leads into how well connected to the experience are the people around you, and how well are they able to understand it? How open to being able to talk to them about it do you feel? All of that is also very, very significant for how it might impact you and how the process of working through it would look like. Third way is your personality type. Obviously, I've talked about that quite a bit already. The way you naturally already react to things is going to determine a lot about how you respond to trauma. And if you're more inclined to naturally do the things that might help or not, and what that process might look like for you, how open to certain things you might be, how much you personally might seek out help for it, or be open about your experience. I think that's very individual, not just to the person, but also to the type of trauma and the experience itself, because I know for me, there are some things I'm way more confident and comfortable talking about than others. Both are trauma, but both are a different type of trauma and a different area you're hitting on. So that is also going to impact it greatly. I think the fourth way is going to be kind of similar to the second way, but not completely, and that's your support system. What kind of support system do you have? Do you have a support system? All of that is going to also greatly impact it. How established of a support system do you have to be able to get through something like that? And is that support system more formal, like a therapist, or more informal, like family and friends? Both are very valid, both are very different, and give unique benefits and help in those circumstances. So that's going to also kind of impact or influence what that process looks like and how you might react to it. The fifth and final factor is your season of life. All of that could be very, very integral to how you have to plan being able to seek help if you need it, how you're able to find time to talk it through with somebody else, how you have time to spend time with friends and family to help you through it. All of that, if you're a student that's busy, if you are working a crazy amount of hours, if you have kids, if you're married, if you have a family, all of that is going to play a part in how you're actually able to accomplish everything else I just talked about. And that'll determine what it looks like and how you might be naturally inclined to respond and deal with it, depending on the circumstances. So I just thought this was a really interesting topic because I feel like this is very unique to everybody, and I just think it's something that you don't know how you'll respond to certain things until you're in it. And I think that's always going to be there, but those are some things that would impact it. And that's kind of an interesting way of looking at how you yourself respond to that. What's going on? What factors are at play here? Is this what I need to be doing, or do I need to adjust? Is there a reason I'm responding that way? I'm somebody that likes to delve deep into those finer details, so all of that is super intriguing and interesting and important to me. And I just thought it was an interesting topic. I thought it was an interesting approach to looking at trauma and experiencing trauma, because most of the time you're talking about, oh, these are the breathing techniques, and this is the therapist you need to see, instead of these are the things that are going to kind of influence what all of that looks like and how you might be inclined to respond and deal with it. So I hope you found it as interesting as I did. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!